Hello, my name is Everfrost, and we're going to be going over the weekly quest for the week of August 28th, 2024. First one is Demacian Protection, which is raise the health of allies in play 4 times. I think the easiest way to do that is going to be to play Bard, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Just pick the Swift Scout here. Doesn't matter what relics you use, but if you have Chemtech Duplicator and the Grand General's Counterplan, that'll make it a little bit easier on you. You can take Spell Slinger, you can take something that raises the health. I assume that's a thing. Again, does not really matter. And so on our board, we have Grand General's Counterplan, Chemtech Duplicator, and the Beast Within. I'm actually unsure if just having the Beast Within would count as raising the health. It might. We can test that right now. To be clear, this is not hard. There are probably a ton of ways you could do this. You could play Diana and use her champion spell with like Echoing Spirit or Chameleon's Necklace. Yeah, there's probably like 1,000 ways to do this. And so the reason I pick Bard for these challenges is because when he levels up, all the chimes will give extra stats to your units in play, so you'll be raising the health that way. I think at this point I'm probably already done, but let's go ahead and just make sure that it's finished. And we'll do that by leveling Bard. And then, same as last week, you can just see how many stats everything gets. Once you hit 6 mana with Chemtech Duplicator, his champion spell will go off twice. You can always just wait to draw his champion spell and use Chameleon Necklace if you don't have Chemtech Duplicator or Grand General's Counterplan. If you have no relics, you can just wait and just keep casting it. Eventually, it'll be the only card left in your deck. So now that it's leveled, you can see here that we've gotten our health raised on our units in play. So that should be more than sufficient to finish this quest. And I'll turn my sound off. And it doesn't matter what we take here, we're not actually planning on staying in this run. The next quest that we have is going to be Arcane Assault. Deal damage with spells. Jinx is going to be our choice for here. So for Jinx, I'm going to be using Packed Powder and the Grand General's Counterplan. You can change this to Scourge's Snatch if you don't have it. Normally, we're using the Loose Cannon's Payload, and we're still going to use that for the Pow Pows. Yeah, that's it. Then we're just going to go same thing. Go into the Swift Scout. Possibly better to pick like a higher level adventure just so there's more things to attack with spells. But I mean, this will be fine. My Jinx does have the level 6 power, which means that my spells are going to do double damage. That's not necessary, but you'll notice it. And so, like, see, we have Pow Pow here, it does 6 damage. Also says just deal damage with spells, which doesn't necessarily imply that it has to be on the enemy. So we'll play that. Here's where this level of adventure might be a problem. Our opponent doesn't have very many hit points. And passing here honestly kind of feels like a mistake. We should just go into the next thing. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I decided to move on to Thresh's adventure for this. The Spiderling first node has a few things going for it. One, there is this Haunted Tomb, which will revive an ally. And two, whenever they attack, they're going to be creating Frenzied Skitters. Or maybe not Frenzied Skitters. Arachnoid Horrors. Some spider. Arachnoid Horror. And that'll give us an extra target to attack. Here, if we use the Super Mega Death Rockets, that'll also be good. I'm going to wait for them to attack. They create an Arachnoid Horror. Just go ahead and burn a spell, killing it. And since I decided on Jinx Grand General's Counterplan, we do get excited, and for me those do 6, for you those will do slightly less if you don't have the 6-star power. And he plays a Soul Spinner, we remove that. And like I said, the Haunted Tomb brings back another unit. Might take you 2 adventures to do this, but overall I think Jinx is going to be the best way. And again, we're not planning on staying in this adventure, so it doesn't matter what we pick. Next you get Friendly Fire, which is target allies. And for completing the Arcane Assault quest, you get a Cosmic Blessing. So to target allies, there are a couple ways you can do that. More than a couple. You could use Morgana, you could use Nico would be fine. Her champion spell targets allies. You could use Kai'Sa. I mean, there's just like an infinite amount of ways that you can do it. I'm not sure who does it the fastest necessarily, but I'm actually going to choose Diana here. And for relics, you're going to want Echoing Spirit if you have it, Chameleon's Necklace if you don't. And then like Grand General's Counterplan. I have 2 of them, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And same deal as always, we go into the weakest adventure we can. And Nami is another good choice, although she might win the game too quickly. And then all we're going to do is pass rounds and cast her champion spell, which is Pale Cascade, so this will draw a card as well. And when you're playing Diana, you want to lead with a spell so that she gets her Nightfall effect, which will give her double attack. That's not really important here, but you know, good habits. You want to predict Pale Cascade, because you want to cast more Pale Cascades, and we're not going to be able to do anything this round, but next round we'll be able to chain a few of these. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, and 4.
is our queen, the night, her kingdom.
Like I said, there's an infinite number of ways that you could accomplish this. And we have 5, 6, 7, 8.
This is progress.
9. That should be enough. I'm gonna cast a couple more times in case I miscounted. I'm not good at counting, so it's always important to know your weaknesses. But that should be sufficient.
A full moon casts her light across the land.
And again, it doesn't matter what you pick here because we're not planning on staying in the adventure. And let's just make sure that we finished. We did. The next thing is all on the cards, which is draw 30 cards. Since we're already here, may as well continue with this. If we let's re-roll, see if we can get something like Twisted Fate would let us draw some more cards. A Jinx leveled up would also let us draw more cards. We'll go ahead and pick her. I'm actually not sure we can lose all our cards to do it. And we'll go ahead and take this bar fight. And so same idea, every time we play Field Cascade, we'll draw a card. You could also just, I guess, pass 30 times and draw 30 cards. You could play Nilah. Nilah is probably the quickest way to get this done, but again, I'm not like super concerned. This is basically the only reason I'm not switching is because we're already here. But Nilah would be the fastest way to draw cards.
Our light grows brighter. Now I pack a punch.
Actually gonna go ahead and stop here and show what that would look like. And for completing Friendly Fire, you get a silver reliquary. The typical build with Nilah would be Oath of Guardians and then 2x Star Gem. We can use the Gravedigger's Spade here. That's round start, draw 1 and give it fleeting. I have 3 of those, so I can just toss all 3 of them on, and that could be a thing that we do. I don't know, sounds fine. But if you don't have that, it really doesn't matter. It's not going to make too much of a difference. It's only drawing cards, so like legitimately you could just play the game and eventually you'll draw 30 cards. Like there's nothing special that you have to do to make that happen. But I'm just showing, like if you wanted to speedrun that, this is kind of what you would do. The idea behind Nilah is every time she attacks, she creates a Slipstream. Slipstream lets you draw 2. She also has cards like Full Shark, which when you play it, you draw 1. One problem with Nilah is she is kind of susceptible to decking herself out. Also, like this guy makes a Slipstream. So.
Joy, unbound and everlasting.
And you do need to attack to get the effect. And because I have a lot of Gravedigger Spades, we're going to be drawing just a ton of cards. Go ahead and play a Pool Shark. Get rid of another Pool Shark so we can draw them later. And we're out of mana, so we'll pass. Her fleeting cards play twice. So, for example, this fleeting Slipstream will play twice.
Behold the power of the seventh seal!
And it doesn't matter because I'm already out of cards in my deck. So we're just going to go ahead and lose here. Oh, they get recycled. That's cool. Still gonna lose here.
A worthy nemesis is to be celebrated.
I'm not super familiar with Nilah, but that's about how it goes. She does have spells that she can replace cards in her deck with, and I guess one of her champion powers is when you discard a card, create a copy of it in your deck and draw one fleeting. So she has that. But yeah, so we ran through our entire deck and we drew 30 cards. So that was nice. And for completing that, we do get 250 Stardust, which is cool. And now we're going to go on to the last adventure. Alright, so I'm not sure this is going to work, but my idea is to take Yasuo with 2 times Everfrost and Tempest Blade, and then when we play him, he'll strike 6 times, and then we just attack with 4 units. Should be enough. The quest is called Ultimate Opportunist, which is strike 10 times in a round, and to do this we're going to go into a slightly more difficult quest, or I don't know, adventure. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick Galio's adventure here. And if we can get stun, that would be fine. Sure, Mana Gem. Mana Gem's good. Dauntless Vanguard, what it does is when it kills one of your units, it creates a Dauntless Vanguard. This way we'll be able to ensure that there's going to be 6 of their units on the board, which is going to be important for us. We do want to have 6 of our units on the board, so we can strike back. And we're going to be using our health as a resource here, and basically not blocking anything until it's time to strike 6 times in a round. So we're also going to need to pay attention to who has the attack token, so we don't want to drop Yasuo early here. Actually going to save this Blast Code Seedling for next round.
The dark beckons. Master.
I mean, that strike wasn't great, so maybe this isn't necessarily the best adventure to pick. But another advantage is that with Withstand, they'll grow in health every round, so the longer we wait, the bigger the units will get, so they could potentially survive a strike from Yasuo. And here we're just going to go ahead and throw out 2 stuns so that our opponents can't attack us back. And we'll just pass here. We can get another Shadow Assassin out on the board. Now we have 4 things that can strike. Our opponent now has a full board as well. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this attack happen as much as possible.
Yasuo, show yourself. Take my steel.
And we can take this, it's fine, we have plenty of hit points. And next round, we're going to win the game. So we play Yasuo.
Maybe I do have a future.
He'll use Everfrost on 2 and then Tempest Blade. 1 strike, 2 strike, 6 strikes, so that's 8 total.
Today we turn the tide of war.
And then we just go ahead and attack.
Strong.
And that is 7, no, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Up, up, go on.
I think this is the best way to do this. And we'll see if it works.
Keep moving on.
Might have needed to complete that round. So that could potentially be a my bad situation. Yeah, no, it's gone. So we did it. Yeah, so you can just leave after you strike. You can complete it if you want, doesn't really matter. And for that we get a Platinum Bolt? Diamond Bolt? I have no idea what these colors are. Platinum Bolt. And we get some fragments for that. So that's it. That's how you do the weekly quests. Hopefully that helps someone, and if not, it's kind of just fun for me to do, and I was going to do it anyway. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.